Hey friends, thank you so much for watching. In today's video, we are making low-carb, keto-friendly, gluten-free pumpkin donuts, and I cannot wait to share this recipe with you. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Stacy, and in my channel, we're all about low-carb, keto-friendly cooking. Welcome to Low Carb Life. So let's get started on our pumpkin donuts. These donuts are so light and flavorful. I cannot wait for you guys to try them. Alrighty, and I will have all the exact measurements linked in the description below. But to get started, we are going to use almond flour and coconut flour, and we want to sift these together. So I pretty much already have in here a cup and a half of almond flour along with a quarter cup of coconut flour, and I'm just going to sift this all together, and this is what's going to give our donuts that light and fluffy texture. The other day we went out to breakfast and they had pumpkin donuts on the menu, and ever since then I could not stop thinking about making these pumpkin donuts. Now had they have been sugar-free and gluten-free at the restaurant, I would have ordered them. All those little pieces left over, we don't want those in our donuts, so I'm just going to discard those, put them off to the side. Our almond flour and coconut flour is all sifted together. Now I'm going to add in our baking powder and our salt. Just add that right in there. I also have our wonderful pumpkin spices. We have cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and nutmeg all in here. Add that in. We have our almond flour, our coconut flour, our spices all together, our baking powder, and our salt. Now we need our binding agent. Because this is gluten-free, we need a gluten-free binding agent to add into our mix, and I'm using xanthan gum. I actually picked this up at Walmart, paid less than $6 for this 5-ounce bag, and this is something you definitely want to add into your pantry. It will last you a long time. Usually when you're using it, you're only using about a quarter teaspoon at a time, but this is perfect for any gluten-free baking, for thickening your soups and your stews and things like that. Your xanthan gum is your binding agent to keep everything kind of sticky and stuck together. So, all right, we're gonna add in a quarter teaspoon. And I have found that it's best to add this to your dry ingredients. We'll sprinkle that all along there. And now we're just gonna give everything a little quick mix to make sure everything's distributed evenly before we move on to our wet ingredients. I try not to overmix our almond flour. I found that when I overmix the flours, then my baked good tends to be a little tough. So you want to be careful, just kind of gently giving it a little mix. Just make sure all those beautiful fall spices are all mixed together. And now on to our wet ingredients. Wet ingredients, we're going to start out with 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened almond milk. We're going to add in 3 eggs. We're going to whisk this together to break up these egg yolks. Now we're going to add in 1 cup of pure pumpkin. Now when you're buying this, you do want to make sure that you are buying 100% pure pumpkin and not the pumpkin pie mix. All right, we have our 1 cup of pure pumpkin all measured out. You are going to have leftover pumpkin. I'm using a 16-ounce can. And so with this extra pumpkin, I'm just going to store it in the refrigerator and maybe make a pumpkin latte tomorrow. So, all right, let's add this pumpkin right into here. Oh, this smells so good. Something about pumpkin just tells you it is holiday time. It smells so good. All right. To our wet mixture, we need to add in a half a cup of sweetener, and I'm using the erythritol and monk fruit right over here. We're gonna add in a half a cup. Now we're going to mix everything together. A few years ago, we were up north in Maine, and there was a place in Portland, Maine called the Holy Donut. So the whole time we were up there, I was like, we have to stop at the Holy Donut. We have to stop at the Holy Donut. I've heard nothing but good things about this place. And apparently their donuts are made with a combination of potatoes and of course their flour and sweeteners and whatnot. But the big thing is they were made of potatoes. And of course it's the big tourist thing, you know, when you're in the area. Cute little town, by the way. Oh my goodness, that Portland was a beautiful little town. But we woke up early in the morning, my daughter and I, and we were in line at the Holy Donut at 7 a.m. Amazing donuts, guys. They actually had some gluten-free options as well, but I was on vacation, so I'll admit, I did splurge and had I had a full sugar donut there, but they had these Maine blueberry donuts. They had one brown sugar donut topped with bacon. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, that town was beautiful. We stopped, and of course we're in Maine, so we had to have some Maine lobster and everything. It was just a great trip. We were actually in, for those that don't know, my husband and I are wedding photographers. He does wedding films, and we actually had a wedding to photograph in Cape Cod, so we just made a whole vacation out of it, drove up to Maine and everything. Our wet ingredients are all mixed together. Now we want to add it into our dry mixture. And how I do that is I just add a little bit at a time. Scoop that out to make sure I got all that goodness there, and just kind of gently fold it in. I don't want to over mix because, like I said, I found that when I over mix my almond flour, I tend to have tough bakery goods. Give this a good mix. Make sure everything's all mixed together. Scoop the sides so we have all that goodness in there. All of our ingredients are all mixed together. Now we want to add into our donut pan. And before we add into our donut pan, we definitely want to grease it to make sure our donuts don't stick. And I'm just using my little spray with my little avocado oil in here. So give this a nice little pump so I can spray without spraying it on my face. But give this a good little spray. Again, we just want to make sure that our donuts don't stick. Perfect, there you go. We need to add our mixture into our donut pan. I don't have a pastry bag, so what I'm using is a gallon-size Ziploc bag. I'm going to add this mixture right into my bag here. And this will make it a lot easier for adding into my donut pan. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my goodness, these smell amazing. Make sure we get all that goodness out of there because I am not leaving anything left over. Okay, then you just kind of close this up just like that. We're gonna release some of the air out of it. Give this a little zip there. Okay, now what we wanna do is you wanna cut the end and just cut a hole in the end so that way we can squirt the batter out into our donut pan. So I'm gonna give this a little snip there. And I wouldn't go too small because then it will take you forever to fill up your donuts. And just kind of squeeze it out of the pan or the Ziploc bag, and there you go. So here we go, right like this. Look at that. And I have found that it's best to go around 2 times, that way you have a good sized donuts. This recipe will actually make 12 donuts. We're just gonna fill these up. Our donuts are ready to go into the oven. I have the oven preheated at 350. We're gonna cook these for 20 minutes or at least until I stick a fork in it and it comes out clean. While our donuts are cooking, we're gonna make a cream cheese glaze. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Good size heaping tablespoons too. That way I don't run out or anything like that. You know what, let's bump it up to 3 tablespoons because I have all this cream cheese left over. There you go. We are going to thin this out and I'm going to use heavy whipping cream. A good tablespoon should be enough, and I'll just add more as needed. And now we're going to add in a little bit of vanilla. It's about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Now for my sweetener, I'm going to use allulose. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup. Give this a good mix. You want to start out slow so you don't have anything splashing all over you. When you're using your cream cheese, you want to make sure it is at room temperature, and this will make it a lot easier to mix. And you're just going to mix it up until it's nice and well combined and everything's nice and thin and smooth. Now you want to taste this just to make sure to see if we need to add any more sweetener. Oh my gosh. This is so good. I could just, maybe one more taste. I could just eat this with the spoon right now. This is so delicious. This is gonna be perfect right on top of our donuts. Our donuts just came out of the oven and check them out. They look amazing. Let me bring these in closer so you guys can get a good look. Look how nice and puffy and airy they are. They are just going to taste so good. Alrighty, we want to gently take these out of the pan and place them on our cooling rack. Woo, this is gonna be tricky. Alright, let me figure this out here. Here we go, we'll put this over here and use our spoon to kindly, gently pull these out. You want to be careful, the batter is still warm and you don't want these to fall apart. There you go. While these are cooling, I'm gonna add my second batch in the oven. We're gonna just let these cool for a minute because if I add my glaze right on top, it's just gonna pour right over. So we wanna let these cool for at least 5 minutes before adding our cream cheese frosting. Time to dip our donuts in the frosting. Look how pretty these are. Look how gorgeous these are. Hang on, let me turn this over and bring these in closer. Oh, I broke one a little bit there. Be careful, let me turn these around so you guys can get a good look before we put the cream cheese frosting on top. But they are just absolutely beautiful. Look at those donuts. Don't they look amazing? Now the time to dip our donuts in the cream cheese frosting. And basically you're just gonna turn it over. Drop it right into the frosting. If you want a little bit more, give it a little double dip there. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, I think he's stuck in that. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. I'm gonna continue to dip all of these donuts in our cream cheese frosting. We have our cream cheese frosting all over our pumpkin donuts. Now what I'm going to do is just give this a light sprinkle of a little cinnamon sugar I mixed together. It's just a combination of the monk fruit with a little bit of cinnamon. I thought it would add a little pretty touch. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit right into my sifter here. And that way just give them a little sprinkle there, maybe a little bit more actually. I'm gonna bring these donuts in closer so you guys can get a good view with all this cream cheese goodness on top. Now time for the taste test. Let's grab this one right over here. Oh my goodness, look at this, guys. This is so good. You're getting that, this is really good. You're getting that pumpkin flavor, a little bit of that cream cheese frosting, some of that nutmeg, the cinnamon is coming through. This says fall all the way. This is so good, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.